Greetings from Tromaville. I'm Lloyd Kaufman, legendary film director you've never heard about. And I'm here at Trailers from Hell to talk to you a bit about a little movie called Squeeze Play.
Everyone's asking, what is a squeeze play?
Like many of my films, Squeeze Play is based on a political theme, ripped from today's headlines. In this case, the women's liberation movement. What made Squeeze Play kind of unusual was that it took sex, which back in the 70s, when I was coming along, the early 70s, sex was considered a serious subject. The sex movies were there to spur on the raincoat manufacturing industry, and the rule was you shouldn't mix sex with comedy. But Michael Hers, my partner, and I knew that there was such a thing as vaudeville, and comedy and sex were mixed together. In fact, the title, Squeeze Play, the Squeeze Play refers to squeezing part of a woman's anatomy, boobies. Well, how delighted was I when I found out that squeeze play is actually a term that's used in softball. And so the title actually makes some sense. Also, it fit on the marquee in the early 70s. The marquees, your title had to fit on the marquee, so the shorter and catchier your title was, the more room on the theater marquee you could have. Squeeze Play is about a women's softball team and how they are trying to gain parity with the men. The men run off and play softball and leave the women in the house. And the women want to go out and form their own softball team. This was 15 years prior to the much inferior A League of Their Own, which featured somebody named Madonna, or I guess it was a religious movie. Squeeze Play, of course, had some amazing humorous moments, such as a man who catches a softball between the cheeks of his behind. Gets the biggest laugh of the film, of course. The main actor who was supposed to do that shot did not want to have a softball taped to his behind, have a string pull the softball away, have the camera upside down so that the material in 35 millimeter would be recorded backwards. When placed in the editing room, it would then come forward, and you'd have a hilarious moment. So an extra did it. A guy who was kind of a walk-on took the part. And had the ball taped to his behind, and went down in history with the biggest laugh in Squeeze Play. Another lesson that I learned was that you've got to get rid of actors who are uncooperative. Woody Allen, I believe, has had more Oscar-winning performances than any other director. I've had probably the least. But Woody Allen would get rid of actors. He got rid of Emily Lloyd in Husbands and Wives after he shot the movie. In this case, I didn't have the guts to do that. In Squeeze Play, one of the actresses, Melissa Michaels, told me 2 days before we were going to film that she would not do nudity. And we had gone through the drill. She rehearsed it. We had filmed rehearsals in Super 8. I should have fired her. I should have given her a part that required no nudity. I did not. I didn't have the guts to fire her. This led to a cancer on the presidency because later on, when there was supposed to be a shower scene, she and some of the other actresses ganged up on me, and we filmed the only shower scene in history, women in bathing suits. Squeeze Play, like many Troma movies, has one foot in a serious political issue. Toxic Avenger was about the environment. Squeeze Play was about women's liberation. So the metaphor of softball and the women wanting to have parity with the men and have their own softball league was a kind of an interesting theme, and maybe that's the reason the film was quite successful. When we tried to get it into movie theaters because it had ample doses of crass sex, the MPAA was giving us a hard time, and movie theaters wouldn't accept it, but it did get a sneak preview in Virginia. We had a sneak preview with the in-laws, Peter Falk and Charles Grodin. And people loved Squeeze Play, and the next Monday, AMC decided to play the movie in a lot of its theaters. And the film went from one print, I think, to 300 or 400 prints.